Welcome back to the last part of the live stream of Jingle Mingle. And for now, we'll be interviewing the GPS2 students and later the other participants of the event. So let's go. Hi, would you mind answering some questions for our interview live stream? Okay, so first of all, yeah, sure, it's easier. So first of all, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your game and your role in it.
I'm Alex. So my role is the tech lead. So our game is actually 3D mobile hack and slash. You play as a kaiju trying to stop invaders from taking control of your home, and you just go around destroying things.
Alright,
Yeah.
how about you?
My name is Hong and I'm one of the programmers for the game.
I see. Okay. So first of all, the first question is how did you come up with the initial concept of your game?
Uh, our designer came up with the concept. He wanted to play on the theme of uh, randomness, so evolution. So with that, so then we rolled into roguelite style games, and yeah.
So you said it's one of the lead designer's choice. What is your opinion on that concept then?
I think the flavor is good. Yeah. So it's good in flavor lah, cause evolution is random. So yeah.
So you mentioned something about kaiju. Is there like any reason why you choose kaiju specifically?
Actually, we were inspired by another game called Evolve.
I see.
Yeah. So we're sort of like borrowing the monster theme over. Yeah.
So what about the game Evolve inspired you guys?
As you sort of grow as a monster and you gain abilities and
So it's
Yeah.
like they get more powerful and all that. So could one of you play the game while I ask another question so we can film it? Film the game. Just yeah, just film you playing the phone. All right. So the next question is, what do you think your players will like most about the game?
uh, the combat is supposed to be the main focus. Yeah.
So, and what's so special about the combat? Just give a description about the combat.
It's supposed to be interactive with the terrain and enemies.
So
Yeah.
you can smash basically everything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see. Very kaiju. All right. So how would you describe your experience in developing this game with your team?
It was tough because it's new. We are like threading new things. We haven't done a few export of new things, so uh, the results were not. Uh, Basically, could have done better, but
I see.
yeah.
Because first time doing this type of game, I see.
Yeah.
Is it like super stressful or just like challenging in making things work?
Bit of both. Yeah.
So, what about with your team? Were there like a lot of like arguing or with the concept like they want to add their own ideas or want this idea? Was there a lot?
No, no, no.
So everyone was pretty clear and straightforward.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot about the concept. What would you say is the biggest challenges in developing this game?
The combat actually, because we're not. These kind of games are like built on the fluidity of the combat. So, but at least for our experience, it's a new experience, and we definitely can improve on it.
I see.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, okay, the last question would be: do you have any final words or any final words for our viewers?
No. Not
Okay.
really.
All right. So, what's the name of your game again? Evolution.
Evolution, yeah.
I see. All right. So that's it for Evolution. Check out that game online on itch.io. Evolution by GPS2. All right. Thank you. Are any one of you the developers for this game? Would you mind doing an interview for a live stream?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
Wait for the guy who's really good at talking is yelling at me.
Sure. Would you call him or?
Yeah, we call it.
Alright.
Yeah, it's coming.
I mean, so before you coming just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your role and a bit about your game
Oh, I'm RJJ and this is Tech JJ, or because our names have two double J's in our initials, obviously. And Obviously, I'm Gordon, our tech lead.
What?
No, our design lead.
Design lead. Yeah, I'm the design lead. I'm Gordon.
What's your name?
I'm Gordon.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your game.
Okay, so Shadow is a 3D 2D game. So basically, think of it like imagine your shadow has its own identity, has its own thoughts. So that's our game. So basically, for the 3D, it's like you solve puzzles for the 2D shadow Alice to like cross because we form the path for her to cross. So it's like think of it like a 2D is like a platform game and the 3D is a puzzle game.
So it's like two sides. 3D is the
Yeah,
human,
so
2D.
basically two like 3D and 2D Alice like working together to reach to an objective basically.
So you mentioned something about the shadow having is it like so it's gain sentience, right?
Yeah.
Is it like rebelling against the normal human or is it like friends?
So, spoiler alert. So basically, it's like the Shadow Alice is kind of like her mother. So,
Wow.
the story is something like, uh, the queen is a very adventurous person. So it's like she's experimenting about shadows. Then suddenly, it did succeed, but it actually backfired. So it actually summoned the Black Queen, and it actually swapped places with the actual queen. And in the end, so it's like the Black Queen that took over the queen, so it's like banish her to the pendant. So the pendant is like trapped the queen forever inside there. So then one day the pendant got broke. Then it's like the Shadow Queen, not the Shadow Queen, the actual queen actually merged with the Shadow Alice and became its own identity.
So that's quite a deep storyline lah. So how did you guys implement the narrative into the game? Is it like through the background or is it like text based?
We want to do text based. This is a puzzle game obviously, but we don't want to make the puzzle that complicated because we have narrative inside too. So we try to like, while you're solving the puzzle, you also can see like character interaction between the Shadow Alice, which is the queen, and the actual Alice.
So okay, the question is, how did you guys come up with the initial concept of the game?
It's actually very heavily inspired by what's the game called again? Iris, Shady Part of Me and Iris Fall. So both of them have this very similar mechanic where it actually uses. So it's like, but uses shadow first of all. But the second thing is like you and another character need to work together to like actually solve the puzzle and actually go to your objective lah, your destination.
Okay. So could one of your teammates play the game and show our viewers, or another one just answers the question with the mic? Yeah. So one of you. Okay, so while viewers are watching the game, the next question is, what do you think your players will enjoy the most about the game?
Definitely the puzzle, especially when you're switching between 3D and 2D, because it's a mechanic that is very rarely see in this kind of games. Like actually, you need once a year controlling two characters at the same time, so it's kind of like forced a year. So it's like the one character that won't succeed because like the other player, if the other player is not there. Yeah.
So obviously creating like complex puzzle, right?
Yeah.
So how would you describe like in coming up with those puzzles and creating them?
It's more towards like when you're creating the puzzle, it's more like I look at what kind of props that we really need. Like for our team, it's medieval props. So when I look at the props, I was like, okay, thinking like how it would actually make sense in that specific room, that specifically like throne room that's not supposed to have any puzzle. It's supposed to be very wide. But what we actually did is like we actually fill up the room with a lot of like furnitures and empty furnitures to kind of like also fit it with the narrative. So like the narrative is like the Black Queen is actually like they don't want people to like she don't want people to come into a room. So it's like she kind of like put a lot of furnitures like stop herself from other people lah.
So the puzzles are based on the narrative lah, is it? On
Kinda
certain
like,
points,
kinda like,
certain points.
point, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next one is, how would you describe describe the experience in developing the game with your team?
It is very it's
Stressful?
not stressful. It's very enjoyable.
Interesting.
Yeah, we kind of like synergize off with each other very very well. It's just a shame that actually Jingle Mingle is on week 12 and it's not on week 13. So it's kind of like put us on a very very crunch time, and actually the end build is not like what we expected.
rush lah.
Yeah, it's not what we expected. It's kind of a shame, but
Were you like familiar with your team, or were they strangers at first?
definitely some of them are definitely familiar with, and some of them is definitely stranger. But somehow we just
bounce off with each other pretty well. And
Good canvas.
would with them again.
All right. So what would you describe as your biggest challenges in developing the game?
Definitely the switching between 3D and 2D puzzles. So it's like you kind of need to make sense like how the shadow actually form, how the shape actually form, and yeah,
If you do it wrong, it'll look. Wow. Just ignore that.
a little bit wrong. Yeah, it's not fun at all.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. So the last question is: do you have any final words for our viewers? Any final notes or words?
Whoever is like still haven't experienced GPS, just be prepared. But don't be afraid. You know, it's a very good experience. So just embrace the challenge and just enjoy working with other people. You know, you will learn a lot. Trust me. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. What was the name of your game again?
Our name is called Shadow.
All right. So that was Shadow from GPS2. Please, you can check it out online on UOW. All right, Waylin, let's go. So, okay, that was only 8 minutes. So now we can go around and interview the other participants of the event. So let's start with lecturer. Mr. Ken, would you mind giving an interview for us?
What's up?
Yeah, just answer a few questions for us on our live stream. So first, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, name is Ken Yap, the lecturer for School of Computer and Creative Media, Game Development. So it's been a good event for physical. It's been a long time since we had one, and it's almost ending, and dinner's almost served already.
So ultimately, what were your thoughts on the students' project so far? Have you seen?
So far, it's amazing. We have a lot of games from both Game Project 1, 2, and Final Year Project. Particularly, the Final Year Project students have shown what they're capable of. But that also shows we're doing great. So now throughout all the semesters. But of course, GPS 1, GPS 2, they're doing great as well. Showcasing both 2D and mobile game development.
So some of the students that I interviewed, they've said especially with the Jingle Mingle deadline, that was like they felt like most of their games were rushed. What were your opinions on that?
No, this is because we're currently in the 12th week of the semester. Technically, semester playtest and Jingle Mingle is always on the 13th or 14th, but due to certain external events and also also unforeseen circumstances, we had to push it earlier. So this is a very uncommon situation for the semester playtest to be on week 12.
I see. But still, it kind of helps them with the industry because you don't know what's going to happen as well with deadlines and all.
It does show that tight deadlines or not tight deadlines is a key factor that students have to go through when these external things happen. So therefore, we always try to keep ourselves on our toes, and we do inform the students that this is happening, and we do apologize that we cannot push it later, but we have no choice.
Yeah, understandable. Last question is: do you have any final words and thoughts for our viewers?
Thank you for those who are still watching. Thank you for actually watching the Jingle Mingle online. So I hope you have a good time and a good dinner.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. So most of it is cleaning up. Let's go interview some of the normal students. All right. Still have. Five normal students. You guys are students, right? Would you mind giving an interview for our live stream? It's okay if you say no.
Sam, your time to shine. Your time to shine, Sam.
Would you mind giving an interview for our live stream? Just answer a few questions about the event lah. Alright. Alright, so first thing first, just tell us, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Kai Xiang. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Like what course, maybe semester?
I'm currently taking game dev, the first year, first time. That's pretty much it.
So what are your thoughts on the events overall?
Oh yeah, actually it's quite fun. I think all those games right there, it's actually really fun to play around with. And seeing the seniors like games, and then one day we'll have to play, one day I have to make games like these as well.
So which type of game in particular was most memorable to you?
I think it was Sweet Suffering. Yeah, Sweet Suffering. Because I personally like platforming game, 3D platforming wise. That's why I think I found the game actually really fun as well. And they also add the beat 'em up system. Yeah, that's really hit my heart.
See. Um, all right. So I mean, as a first year, as a first sem lah, how do you feel like in like getting any valuable advice in making this kind of game, or how do you feel about that in the future that you have to make?
Sorry?
So as a first year, right, obviously seeing a lot of these developed game, how do you feel about that? Currently, what you know about developing games, how do you feel in the future making games like those?
I feel a little bit pressure because we have to make games that are fully complete and cannot be half-assed as well. So kind of nervous and kind of scared as well.
So last question is any final words for our viewers?
Oh hi, I make music as well. My music name is called Altemis, Altermis. Please go check it out. All right, thank you.
Alright, so that's all for Kaisa, aka Altemis. Right, so let's go and see if we can find more people to interview. You guys are students. Will any of you be interested in giving an interview for a live stream? It's okay if you say no. Alright, never mind. Thank you then. Go for film industry people. Excuse me, you guys are from the game industry. Would you mind giving an interview for our live stream about the event? It's okay if you say no.
Sure. Wait, here. Or...
You can stand over there so it's a bit quieter. Alright. Alright, so first thing first, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your position, your occupation, your position in the game industry?
Hello. My name is Yi Xiang. Currently, I'm a producer at Emma Box Studios, local studio. Yes. So, yeah.
So, what were your thoughts and opinions so far about the student games in this event?
I've only played a few, but so far, some of the projects look interesting. End of the line, I know it's been quite polished already. Other ones, especially like GPS one and FIP one, could use a lot more work because they're quite bare bones right now. But of course, I was in that position like a few years back also, so I understand. It's like sometimes you don't have a lot of time to work and stuff. So
a lot of resources as well. So about that, what would be any advice to give those students, especially?
Cool. Okay. So part of the reason why I feel like a lot of student projects don't really go according to plan is that they don't have a. I think the teachers in one of the classes, it's called a black box, where it's either a game reference or an image that a lot of the team members can just use as a reference point. Just whenever they're not sure about what decisions to make, they look at that game or that image, and they just, okay, that's what we're going for. Let's make that our focus. So I think part of the reason why a lot of projects right now, they feel not very polished or they don't have a really clear goal. Is that they don't have that like really one strong focus point.
So it's like a central idea lah. Most of them stray away from that. I see. So were there any game? What were the games that was most memorable to you in this event, the student games?
So far I've only played the dessert fighting game. Sweet something.
Sweet Suffering. Yeah.
Sweet Suffering. Tembo. And then I think so far the one that interested me the most was End of the Line. Because I remember playing End of the Line back when they were FYP1, I think, on like Discord lah, like live stream. It was quite rough back then. but since I saw someone else play it looks quite polished and the art is really nice also. So yeah, all the games that seem like the most conceptually interesting one. Yeah.
Alright, so last question is, do you have any final note or words for our viewers?
When you guys graduate, right? Really think a lot about whether you guys want to actually work in the games industry. So it's a lot different than working in a group project for students. And a lot of times, to be frank, it's not very enjoyable. And sometimes salary wise it's not as high also. So it's something that you really want to born out of passion, because of course a lot of the students here who take the game course are doing it out of passion, right? Something they're passionate about. But when you have to do it as a career, passion isn't enough.
There's different levels for professionality.
Yes.
I see.
So yeah, that's the advice I would give. Just really think a lot about whether you guys want to continue working in the games industry.
Fair enough. So that's all. Thank you for your time. And alright, so moving on. Let's see. We have around. Well, we have 10 more minutes. So let's see if we can interview more. I will ask them. Excuse me, you guys are industry, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Would you mind giving an interview for our live stream? Just answer a few questions.
Sure.
Alright, could you stand out so it's a bit quieter for the voice?
Do I wear my mask?
It's up to you.
Alright, I'll wear my mask.
Alright, thank you for the applause. So first thing first, could you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your occupation and your position in the game industry?
Hi, my name is Alex. I am the studio manager of Lionfish Studios and producer at Hidden Chest Studios.
Alright, so the first question was, what were your thoughts and opinions on the student projects in this event?
Ooh. So I'm also an alumni, so I've experienced what they have experienced before. Seeing some of the games, some were impressive, some I can see in the future they will be fantastic developers, but there were some also that were a bit disappointing.
What make them disappointing? Just to say.
Well, I think in every school, in every semester, there will be students that won't be up to par, right? And I think just particularly, I think this current batch, some weren't up to par, they weren't as hardworking or whatnot.
You can see a bit of holes in it. Alright, so based on the game, what were the most memorable ones to you?
There was one from FYP1, which is this candy game. It was
very suffering, was it?
I think so. I don't remember the name, even though it's supposed to be memorable.
Okay.
But yeah, the developers there, I enjoyed their effort in terms of what they did for the enemies, animation, and their systems itself. I can see a lot of effort. I look forward to what they can produce next semester.
So, is there any advice for those student games? As you said, some of them are hosts. What advice would you give them on making those projects better? Or those current, even though it's memorable, what most things they could improve on it?
So I think polish is very important. Something that's overlooked often. Oftentimes a lot of students go, I want to add this mechanic, add this. But it's better to just have less, but make that less more, right?
Depth,
yeah, right. You don't want to cook a buffet. You just want to have one nice dish and make that dish perfect, right? So just focus on polish the game feel, make it look as nice and feel as nice as possible.
Alright, thank you. So the last question is, do you have any final note or words for our viewers? Any piece of advice?
Who are that? Who are the audience?
Mostly game students.
Oh, okay. I guess I would say join game jams, have fun. The upcoming game jam is Global Game Jam, and that will definitely help you as a game developer.
Alright, thank you for your time and the interview. Alright. So I think that's about all that we can interview. Most people are already leaving, and that's about it for Jingle Mingle 2022. Thank you for tuning in the live stream. I'm your host Yingfu, and bye bye. Hope you join next year.